Okay, good. So we have that. As you can see, what I have on the screen, this is just like I didn't like let me say specially go somewhere to generate this. Probably what I was working on before. I made this on my book. Then I'm going to use this as the example to explain. Before I proceed, look at the request, look at the response. Let's start from the request before moving down to the response. I need somebody to just like give me like a rundown of what you can see. What is the explanation you can take? They say you are trying to like forward a request to a server, and you go to you put on your intercept, and your intercept was able to capture this. Now, can you tell me exactly, explain exactly what you are seeing on the screen? Like, what meaning can you make out of it? Because it's pointless when you are trying to exploit some vulnerabilities when you cannot even understand the requests you are sending. I need someone to just do that. Mr. David, your hand have been up since. I don't know if you are responding to this question. Okay, Mr. Sam or Billy.
Okay, okay, sir. What with the request I see here
Yes.
is that the person was trying to click on forget password and he was trying to change password. His username is Carlos. So that is the request. That is what I can see here. That he was trying to change his password to recover his password, and his username is Carlos.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Okay,
Looking
that is
at
it, sir.
it, what you said is yes, thank you very much for that. Looking at it, what you said is correct. But then if I still need like a deeper kind of analysis, um to begin with, you can see the first line. You can see the first line written there. What you have written there is what? Post. We have forgot password. Then we have http/2. That's a post, right? Now, there are two types of requests, not like just only two. You can call them verb request or you can call them action request. That's when we talk about post, we talk about get, we talk about delete, we talk about, so they are just know that they are like different types, right? So now, for now, we are starting with that first one, which is a post request. If you notice, there is one endpoint there, forgot password. There's a request type post. There's an endpoint, forgot password. Now there's a protocol, HTTP2. If you during your Cisco calls, you see why it's very, very important to follow up the assignment step by step. Don't leave anyone, because if you leave anyone, we're going to go back to it. You see that Cisco course, I am very sure during the course of the distance, they taught you, they made mention of the different kind of like action requests that we have or get requests that we have. Post being part of it, get being part of it, delete being part of it. All those requests that we have. Now, from the head of the stuff, we can see the request type, which is post. We can also see the endpoint, which is forgot password. Then we can see the protocol. Now, let's break down the header. I don't know if we are together. Let's break down the header. Trying to squint through the screen. Let me sorry, I want to make my Burp Suite smaller so that I'll be able to see both Burp. Okay, let me make it. Okay, let me make it bigger still. Okay, I'm sure it's bigger on your end.
Star is bigger, but those requests and response are very small. But when you make it smaller, you can see it clearly. Thank you, sir.
Come again. The what and what is small?
As in the screen is we cannot read what you have on the screen. It's very tiny. But when you make it smaller, we can see it clearly and we can read it as well.
Okay, let me make it smaller. Is it better now? Let me
Yes,
close
sir.
the inspector. Is okay now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay. So looking at what we have here, the next thing that we can see, if you look at it very well. Now we are first talking about the request, not the response, so that you will probably understand the this thing. So probably understand what we have up there. Okay, now I've explained the first line. You can call it number one. That's that post forgot password http/2. Now the second one is hosts. I'm sure that one should not be a problem. Why is it not a problem? Because we can even someone that is, let me say, new to cybersecurity can just tell us that that specifies um the let me say the exact domain that we are dealing with. Yeah. So now look at the next one, cookie session. That's a cookie, that's a key. You must have seen something like this, like okay, they want to steal cookies, or they want to the session keys that's been stolen, something like that. So now this is actually the session key. Now moving on to the next one. So the session cookie is actually like the person that is logged into that account. That's his current session state. Yeah, and that lab key that you are seeing there might just be particular to that exact lab that I'm trying to solve. I'm just trying to break this thing down so we understand. Now you see that length, content length. Content length is telling you the length of the request body. That's that request that you sent to the server. It's telling you the length of the request. Um, Going down to cache control, max age. I think this one suggests that the response must not be cached and must be revalidated with the server. Let me leave all these ones and just let me jump on the important ones, those ones that are actually very, very important for us. Now go down, look at origin, this origin here. Origin, what's it telling you? It's specifying the origin, where that request is coming from. Where is it coming from? It's trying to tell you where that your request is coming from. That's
It's frustrating. We cannot hear you clearly. The thing
sorry,
is
what is
frustrating.
frustrating? Can someone confirm that in live session Q&A if my voice is actually cracking?
Mr. Babola, I think you should check your network. We can hear you, Mr. Boniface. We can hear you loud and clear,
Thank you
sir.
very much. Okay, so okay, let's proceed. But Mr. Babalola, just be ready to share your screen so that once we start solving those challenges, I will not be explaining what you are doing and why you are doing what you are doing. So just please just wait for me. Thank you. So I was explaining origin, right? So we definitely know that that's where the request is coming from. So moving down to content type, very, very important. Content type is telling you the type of that content that you're sending. You can actually manipulate it, you can change it. One of the challenges that we were solving, okay, when I mean we, I mean me and some of you, we actually um, did some together. So we actually had to change the content type for a particular question, then use another content type. So for the user agents, you know what they are talking about. Mere looking at it, you can tell what they are talking about. So that will be that about that. Going down to this referral can tell you more about the page from which this request was made. So that will be that on that. Looking at the response now, the first line actually has a lot of information to tell or to give. It says http/2 200 okay, indicates that before I say what it indicates, can someone tell me the different status code or different response code that we have? Start from the series. Sorry, I'm coming. Yes, I need somebody to tell me that. The difference, okay, Mr. Abiodun Adiremi. Tell me the different response code that we have. Mr. Yusuf Raji. Mr. Yusuf Raji.
Yes.
Last person, if you don't talk, I would just answer it myself. Okay, Mr. I don't know what I called now. Mr. Akintude Fashino.
All right. I think 200 means the response or the request is successful. There is 201. I can't remember what it stands for. Then you have the one for a bad request. That is 401. Then you have 403 for a forbidden or you are not permitted to access that particular page or to send such a request. Then there is still 501. Maybe the service is not available. I think those are the ones I can quickly remember now.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your answer. Okay, most importantly, they are categorized from 100 to what? To 500. So you might not want to call them, you might just want to call them, for me, I call them 100 series, 200 series, 300 series, 400 series, then 500 series. This is something that is expected that we must have learned, but then let me explain it as though we don't know it. Now, there's a popular one that you must have seen, even if you are not into cybersecurity. Let's say you're just browsing the internet. Please, everyone should pay attention to this. Very, very important. Even if you are not like a cybersecurity pro, all these code or all this response code are actually things that you should know. Very, very vital. Now, you may go and check online to see maybe there's something that I am not saying, or you want to remember very, very well. Now, starting from, like I said, 100 series. Instead of 100 series, I can just say 1xx, like When I mean 1xx, I mean that's from 100 ranging to what? Ranging um to 199. Then from for 200 ranging to 299. That's what I mean by 100 series, 200 series and likes of them. You must have seen error. Don't let me say it. Let me ask you, what's that popular one when there is like this thing is not going to go? Let me say there's a problem. There's one problem. There's a very popular error that you normally see that normally pop out in your browser. Can someone help me out? What's the name of that? Okay, Mr. Steve. Okay, Mr. Samson. Sorry, Mr. Steve. Let me hear from Mr. Samson. Mr. Samson Peterzog. If I call you, the moment I call you and you don't speak, I'll have to mute you back. Okay, Mr. Samson, last. Let me hear from you. What's the popular one that we used to hear very well?
404, sir. 404.
Exactly. So error 404 is actually that very popular one. Now, when you talk about the different responses that we have, first of all, let me start with 100. That's 100 series. 100 series, 200 series, 300 series, 400, then 500. If you're not going to cram everything, that's the way they are. Just know that 100 series is just like, it wants to give you information about the request you've sent. All those ones barely come out. But if you are dealing with Burp, just know that you would see them. Most of the time, you would see them. So when you want to give like more information about the, let me say, request that you are sending. Now, 200 is the one you will most likely see. In account that they are sending a valid request, you will most likely see that 200 is for like, okay. Take for example, 200 that we used to know is what the request was successful. Like the one you are seeing on your screen currently. What's that one telling you? It's telling you that the request was successful. You successfully sent the request. Now, if you are seeing something like, I'm not going to go through it and break it down one after the other, say like 201, 202, 203. No, I won't break it down like that. Just know that talking about 200, you're talking about successful responses, right? Now, when you move to 300 series, you're talking about what? Redirection, right? From 300 or 301, let's say 301 now, it's telling you like the request has been, let me say, changed. Let me say you need to redirect, right? So 301 could be that. No, 301 is that's changed permanently. 302 is that's changed temporarily. You get, so just know that 300 series or 3xx, 300 series is for what? Redirection. Sometimes they will tell you that sometimes you want to download something. If you are constant with all this, let's say Nigeria, Naira, and like something, they will tell you that with you have been redirected to another page, your download will begin immediately. If it does not begin, what do they even say? Click on this, yes. For them to tell you to wait, that you have been blah blah blah, you directed to another page or something like that. That is what. If you use your Burp Suite to intercept that kind of request, what you are going to be seeing in your response is what? 300. So it's very good to note all these kind of things. So you're going to be seeing 300. That's 300 series, not necessarily 300. 300, 302, 301, or the likes of them. Now, talking about 400, that one is like from our side. That's from our, we know we are the client. From our side, that's the client error response, right? 500 is like server error response. So from our side, let's say now we sent a request that the server cannot understand. Let me say invalid this thing or bad request or invalid syntax or something. It's going to give you 400. That's error 400 or response 400, right? Now the popular one that we know is 404. That will tell you that the server cannot find that requested resource. You have to browse to a page there. So a web page that is not existing again. You get. If you see 403, that one is a bit popular. Then it will tell you that this site is forbidden. Like you don't have the rights to visit this site. That's when you see error 403. So that is that about that. And for 500 series, is for server error server error, like not if 400 is client error. Now 500 is server error. So take for example, now you sent one code and it's taking too much time for the distance to handle it. It can give you error 500. That's the server has encountered a problem or does not even know how to even handle that you said. And now that is popular is 502. If you are very, very good, if you are good with IT, or you are working in IT sector, or you are dealing with internet, you know, you must be seeing all these responses. So if you don't know it before now, you should know it now. So that's that about that. Now, I will just quickly run down all those things so that I'll not really waste much of our time. So we've talked about the first line, which is that HTTP 200, which is okay. Now let's move to the header breakdown. Talking about the content type, you don't really need all those ones. All those ones, you don't need all those ones. Nobody will, you won't really see vulnerabilities that will ask you to, not necessarily that will ask you to start changing all these ones, right? So I've explained content length before. It's still the same explanation for it. Now, the documentation type, that's that doc type, that's we are writing HTML. So for the head section, all this in they're like HTML language. So if you understand it, you know what you are going to be seeing in the site. Sometimes what you need is actually going to be indicated in this like response page, right? So that will basically be that about that. Now that we've done all those ones, Mr. Babalola, please just share your screen so that we solve some examples. Then we are going to explain why we are doing what we are doing. So I'll stop sharing my screen at this stage. Okay, Babalola. Babalola, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.